Alright, man, it's your boy Humble League 2 times for me. Back in the video, man, for me. Follow the Instagram at Humble League 2 times. Now, look, just for this time, we're talking about stop thinking so much. Now, look, for today's video, I want to give a huge shout out to the Most High and Judo for everything. I'm also giving you a shout out to myself as well for wanting to receive this good information and give out this good information as well. I'm also giving you a shout out to the Most High for everything. I'm also giving you a shout out to myself as well for wanting to receive this good information and give out this good information as well. I'm also giving you a shout out to everyone and to y'all. Y'all literally take energy out of y'all's day to come rock me, show love, support, you feel me? I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all so much more. Love always deeply. I'm also sending good positive energy towards everyone always. Also, if you want to do a one-on-one call with me, just DM me on my Instagram at Humble Ali 2 times. Everything is lowercase, everything is together. Humble Ali 2 times. Also, disclaimer, if you don't want to hear about the truth, if you don't want to hear more about the truth, if you feel like you're not ready to hear about the truth, if you feel like you're not ready to hear more about the truth, then you may want to go ahead and click off this video now. Respectfully, all due respect. Let's go ahead and get more deep into the video. Stop thinking so much. Now look, right? Disclaimer, I'm not sitting here saying don't think at all. I'm not saying that, neither am I suggesting that. But what I want y'all to understand and understand, this goes for myself as well, a lot of times we overly think way too much, right? So, like, for an example, right? A lot of times we bring upon stress that doesn't even need to be brung upon, right? So, like, a lot of times we'll give ourselves anxiety, or a lot of times we'll give ourselves stress, right? And these things are only real if you think and believe they are real, right? I'm not trying to be mean and disrespectful, none of that, but it's the honest truth. Respect for God to respect. So, when a lot of times why we stress and etc. is because we're thinking too much, right? Like, you ever notice when you're just in the present, you feel a lot better? Like, for an example, like when you first rise up, for a lot of people, when they first rise up, you're not really thinking about anything, right? Do you notice when you first rise up, when you're not really thinking about anything, you're kind of just like a calm vibe, like you're just chilling, right? Right? So imagine if you was like that the whole day, where you were just in a calm vibe and you wasn't really thinking about anything. You just really in a present moment, right? And if you was thinking about something, you wasn't like overly thinking about something, right? Because I've said this before, y'all, too much of anything can become bad, right? And some of y'all may be like, well, how could too much of something become bad? The reason why too much of something can become bad is because, I say that because, let's say for an example, right? It can. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will. But it is a possibility that it could become bad. Why? Because sometimes when you overly do things, it may affect you in a negative way, in a negative aspect, right? In the negative format, right? In a negative form, right? So a lot of times we overly stimulate ourselves, and we don't even got to do that, right? Sometimes we just need to stop thinking so much, right? Because a lot of times the things that we're upset about, either one, it hasn't even happened, or two, it has happened and it's no longer here, so it's not happening anymore, or three, we're just making up stuff that isn't even actually in real reality, it's just in our head, etc. So a lot of times we make things harder than what they are. Like, for an example, right? I get it. You may feel nervousness, you may feel this and that. I understand that. But what I want you to understand and understand is that cannot stop you from doing the things that you truly want to do unless you allow it to, bro. If you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you get nervous at times, right, etc., these things can only stop you if you allow them to stop you. You can still live your life. You can still live the life that you want while, maybe still being nervous, etc. Now, that may be easier said than done. I'm not saying it's easy to do. I'm not saying that. But it can be done. You can achieve anything that you want to achieve, right? It may not be easy, right? It may not be the hardest thing to do, but it's going to take some work. It's going to take some energy. Sometimes it may be hard. Sometimes it may be really, really hard to achieve certain things, but you can still achieve it, right? Just because something is very hard or is very difficult doesn't mean that you cannot achieve it. You can achieve anything that you want to achieve, right? But if you don't even know that you can achieve it, then how are you going to achieve it? You can't achieve something if you don't even know and don't even think that you can achieve it, right? So, respect for all due respect, not trying to be mean or nothing like that. You feel me? Respect for all due respect. Another thing is that when it comes to thinking, right? For an example, right? Let's say you want to talk to a woman, or let's say you want to talk to a man, right? Well, dang, what if she says this? If you go up and just talk to the individual, you'll get an answer. You may not get the answer that you want, but you'll get an answer. But when you're constantly, and this goes to myself as well, y'all, when you're constantly just thinking of what she'll say or what he will say, you may not actually truly know unless you maybe go talk and like see what they say. Maybe, you see what I'm saying? Respectfully, all due respect. So I'm just giving y'all some examples. You feel me? Respectfully, respect. So a lot of times, bro, we overly stimulate ourselves. A lot of times we stress ourselves out, and these things aren't good at all. These things are very low vibrational. These things are very low energy, right? And a lot of times I feel like we don't realize like we're hurting ourselves, right? We don't have to hurt ourselves, right? So what I want y'all to understand and understand is that you don't have to try to figure out everything in life, right? You don't have to try to have everything figured out at a certain age, bro. Age isn't even a real thing, y'all. Like, it's so many different programming systems. There's so many different things that they have made up to distract us and try to lower our vibration, etc. Like, age isn't real, bro. You feel me? Like, oh, well, at this age I have to have this amount of money, or at this age I have to have this and this and this. Like, you feel me? Now, disclaimer, I'm not sitting here saying if you're 45 years old, go try to get with a 12-year-old. I'm not suggesting, neither am I recommending anything like that. You feel me? But what I want y'all to understand and understand is that with thinking, sometimes overly thinking can become bad sometimes, bro. Like, and then sometimes not thinking at all can become bad, right? Like I say this a lot, y'all, and a lot of times, y'all, I repeat the same things, y'all, but it's for a reason. But I want y'all to maybe respect, all due respect. Like, a lot of times I repeat the same things, right? But what I want y'all to understand and understand is that everything is energy, bro. You feel me? Everything is energy. And like I've said this multiple times, y'all, there's duality in everything, right? So you may be saying, well, dang, Ali, if there's duality in everything, then that means that even if a lot of people are being positive, it could be one person that just wants to be negative, right? And you may be like, well, dang, well, why is it like that? Why isn't it just everybody just positive, right? The thing is, it could be like that. It can be like that. Well, oh, Ali, how could it be like that? There's duality in everything. Even though there's duality in everything, duality is another word for balance, right? What I want y'all to understand and understand is that if life is supposed to be all positive, then it would be all positive. If life was supposed to be all negative, then it would be all negative. But life is both positive and negative, but it's balanced out, though. What I mean by it's balanced out is that it's supposed to be negativity, and it's supposed to be negativity, and it's supposed to be positivity. Right now, that may sound crazy what I just said, but it's the truth. Why is it the truth? Because if it wasn't supposed to be negativity on life, then life wouldn't have negativity. If life wasn't supposed to be positive, it wouldn't be positivity on life. You see what I'm saying? The universe makes no mistakes. Right now, I'm not recommending, neither am I suggesting anybody to go be negative. Well, oh, I'm gonna go be negative to balance it out. No, I don't recommend that. Neither am I suggesting that. I'm not recommending anybody to go do anything negative. I'm not recommending that. Neither am I suggesting that. Respectfully, all due respect. And like I said before as well, the universe, it is positive and negative, right? So, and we have free will. That's another thing too. We have free will. So, well, Ali, why can't everybody be positive? We have free will. Everybody, we don't have to be positive, right? Even the people who do be positive, they don't have to be positive. Even the people who be negative, they don't have to be negative. We have free will. You see what I'm saying? Respect, all due respect. And another thing too is like with thinking is that thinking is a very good tool, right? Thinking is a very good thing to do, right? But the thing is with thinking is that sometimes thinking can be a bad thing, right? Sometimes overly thinking too much can become a bad thing sometimes, right? So it's just like, it's imperative and it's important to know how to like balance, right? And not just with thinking, just in life in general. I feel like it's very important to know how to balance a lot of things, in my opinion, respect, out of respect, because like sometimes too much of something can become bad, you know, and I feel like it's very important to know how to balance a lot of things out. And I feel like it's important to really just know how to really understand yourself, you know, and kind of just like, it's important in my opinion too to like take control of your life. What I mean by take control of your life is that it's to control yourself and like and make the life that you want to make instead of living the life that somebody else may want you to live, or you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Respectfully, all due respect. But look, man, before I end out this video, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone, man. We've been going crazy on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, man, etc. And I love y'all, man. I hope y'all females enjoyed today's video. And I catch y'all females on the next one, man. Peace.